totals here. David at 2, William at 26. We'll see exactly where the board stands. Looks like maybe both players have Whisperwood Elemental in play, and they do. Well then.
That will slow it down.
just a smidge. Just a hair. There's a Shaman of the Great Hunt that's going to be unmorphed, it seems. Looks like no Nykthos on Miller's side.
And this is the debut of Shamanic Revelation, that's for sure. Copies in both players' decks.
Okay. Well, let's head over to Miller's turn. You see, again, he's at 26. Moline is at 10. And it looks like David has a copy of Mastery of the Unseen in place. So every time he flips up a creature, he gets to gain life equal to the number of creatures in play, which is always a delight. This is a lot of mana. And oh boy, this feels like
Crater's Claws, perhaps?
Big Papa Ugin, maybe? Fireball?
Ugin's not bad in this spot. Ugin will play.
Genesis Hydra will play too. Ring-a-ding-ding.
There's nothing wrong with Genesis Hydra here, but the board is quite cluttered.
It is cluttered. This will be for 10. Hello, dragon friend.
Ugin's not shabby.
Now, Ugin's interesting on this board because it doesn't kill manifest creatures. So it's kind of weird. Like, I don't think you're passing up Ugin ever because it's Ugin. It's just a little strange on this board.
I just gotta start going upstairs.
You start doming those manifests, that's probably not that great.
And kill the Shaman of the Great Hunt, I don't know. Go at David? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Start shooting things. You don't have to minus.
Just shoot things at random.
Yeah. You choose.
That thing starts on 7. It's going to go up to 9. Going to flip something over, perhaps? It's a Whisperwood Elemental. So a bunch of life is going to be gained here. Get Master of the Unseen going to work. All right, now Shaman of the Great Hunt's going to bite the dust. Moline goes up to 18. There's an Elvish Mystic. It's a manifest. And it's a passing of the turn.
Given, you know, gaining some life there is not bad. But given the way this game is shaping up, I feel like David would have been better served activating Shaman of the Great Hunt there and drawing some cards rather than unmorphing and gaining some life.
Sure.
It just seems like this game is settling up to be a really drawn-out affair, that the first person who does something really powerful is going to win, no matter what the life totals look like.
Yeah, no matter whatever that really powerful thing is. Now, David has Hostilities in hand. Both players have Whisperwood Elemental in play, so that makes for an interesting situation. There's Xenagos. So maybe now Satyr tokens will be joining us. We'll see.
Looks like quite a bit of mana, perhaps.
Yep. Now, one card that David can find that there's not really a lot William can do is Purphoros. There's 2 of those in his deck, then he can go really crazy.
Oh, yeah, Purphoros plus manifesting.
Yeah.
With all that mana?
It's combo.
It's combo!
Plus Whisperwood Elemental, making creatures each turn.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's combo city.
Slight pause in the action here. The judge is being asked a question really quickly here. So there's your manifest trigger. Here's your other manifest triggered, perhaps, since there are 2 Whisperwoods in play. It looks like he was deciding what mana to get off of his Xenagos activation, since it should be a combination of red or green.
It doesn't really matter too much because most likely what's happening this turn, the bottleneck will be on white mana because of Mastery of the Unseen. But I don't think colored mana is going to be too much of a consideration here.
Gonna unmorph and gain a bunch more life.
Well, we have reached the point where Crater's Claws is no longer a very good
That's
draw
off.
rule.
That's off the table. Yeah. Another manifest. Jeez. All right, let's go back William Miller's way. Somehow he's not able. He's having a hard time keeping up with this. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the one with an Ugin in play.
Right.
He's taking a look at some manifest creatures now too.
And as long as he just keeps on, David, I mean, just churning out manifest tokens, Ugin loses a lot of its sting.
I never thought I'd see the day where Ugin is not game over. It's going to tick up now to 11. I think it might be going after Elvish Mystic, since you're playing a guessing game with the...
Well, he has some information because some of them have been revealed via Courser.
Yeah. There's Arbor Colossus. It's going to turn that up just so we can gain a bunch of life again. Looks like he's going to gain 10 life, and then the Elvish Mystic dies.
Is David going to be able to just shrug his shoulders at Ugin going ultimate?
I actually think so. There's Voyaging Satyr. Pass the turn back. I mean, Ugin's ultimate. Gain 7, draw 7, put 7 permanents in play. Who even cares?
Yeah, you get some stuff, but I don't know.
Crater's Claws is not the game over card that it would normally be in this situation.
David can gain so much life here.
Assuming those are creatures that he can unmorph, he can gain a boatload of life. There's a forest.
Also, another play that David has access to at this point is he can always float a bunch of mana and hostilities and dump a bunch into Master of the Unseen too.
Mm-hmm.
So he does have the option of keeping Williams' board under control if it ever gets unmanageable.
Top card's another copy of Master of the Unseen. Somebody wants to know what Ugin does. Yeah, I don't care. That card sucks.
I'm sure David would be thrilled to get Ugin below its ultimate requirement, though. Because if Williams going to catch up, it's going to be with something like that.
It's just a really unique game state. Never seen this one before.
Yeah, this is a bizarre one.
Xenagos is going to go up. Bunch of mana here. He will use some of this mana to use Master of the Unseen to manifest again. So now we get to see the top card of his deck, which is Sylvan Caryatid. He'll manifest that one too. Manifest Tribal.
Ooh,
There's Big Daddy.
We found him. He was hiding out.
Yeah.
We found him.
The god of the forge, Purphoros. We'll see the top card again now in just a moment. Purphoros.
The plot thickens. What's not to like about this?
It wasn't thick enough already?
Yeah. This is some Magic the Puzzling type action right here.
Yeah. I don't even know what to expect next. All I know is he's going to turn Purphoros up at some point. He's going to gain a bunch of life doing so, and then Gonna slam that hammer quite a few times.
Yeah. This is really testing the upper bounds of our manifest tokens too.
It is, yeah. Don't know how many we have in the kit.
Right.
Apparently, up now we're going to morph tokens.
Yep. Dave broke it. It's like the first time a Johnny Mentor of Heroes went Ultimate. We just could not get it above 100 life.
Yep. Had to fix it. Had to fix the display. You gotta be ready for stuff like that. All right, well, Ugin's going Ultimate.
All right, well, yeah, Williams doing what he can do.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be good enough, but
He wants 7 cards. He wants 7 life. And he probably wants 7 Crater's Claws.
well, he doesn't have a Nykthos just yet.
Which is really weird.
There it
He's
is.
found one.
He has a Nykthos and a Xenagos, but no Crater's Claws.
All right, Nykthos. With at least 1 Voyaging Satyr in play.
Yeah, I don't know if William has a big enough output. But he's got some stuff to do now.
This does feel a little like a Commander game.
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close.
Voyaging Satyr is going to untap. Maybe. I'm not even sure he knows what he wants to do. There's Purphoros. Now he's going to, there you go, replace that one. There you go. See, there's so much stuff on the board, he doesn't even know what to,
Right.
doesn't even know what to take off and put on. It's too congested. Voyaging Satyr is going to untap this. How much mana is floating? Your guess is as good as mine. Let's just keep it all street legal.
I'm just going to tell you what happens when it happens.
Yep.
Not worried about counting up the mana at this point. It's a lot. This game stands in stark contrast with the Siege Rhino versus Burmaz battle we just got done with.
33-ish mana now. Purphoros looks mighty upset. All the manas. Looks like we're at 41 now. I wonder if he places Xenagos and then pluses it, does he generate more mana? I have to imagine the answer is yes.
Oh, he's got a Shamanic Revelation in his hand.
Oh, mercy. Someone just gonna deck? That's gotta be in play here. Just green decks decking.
This is the most complicated standard game I think that I've seen, perhaps ever. Not necessarily on a strategic or tactical level, but on the what exactly is the game state right now? Who owns what cards?
These players are so befuddled and confused. I think some may have forgotten that William has not put 7 permanents into play for free with Ugin yet.
Well, he's about to draw 25 cards, so he might find, you know.
Well, it's all in the resolution
Oh, it's all
of Ugin,
inside
yeah.
the same spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gain 7, draw 7, put 7 into free. Didn't do that yet.
All right. So it looks like Purphoros is fighting everything.
I'd imagine Purphoros probably like fighting like all the morphs.
Probably.
This one really mad Hydra. Sacrifice Whisperwood Elemental.
Okay. So let's see what David now can unmorph. because he just might get a re-up on all these manifest cards.
Yeah. So he's going to gain a bunch of life now. Purphoros just a 25-25. Here's another one. That one's Purphoros.
Cool. Purphoros, quite a combo with Whisperwood Elemental in this spot because a lot of things are going to be coming back into play.
Yes. It is hammer time. Looking at ourselves, maybe a 40-minute game one. Maybe setting an all-time record here.
Yeah. I think for a game not involving islands, this might set a record.
Yeah. Up to 79. We'll sacrifice the other Whisperwood Elemental. Perhaps that's what he fought. It's mostly the Whisperwoods.
I think his plan here is to try to combo off with Purphoros. In response to this fight, just try to get as much manifest tokens back into play as possible, trigger Purphoros as much as you can.
Okay.
But I am just guessing because who even knows?
Because right now it is certainly a guessing game. I mean, his board's been beat up a little bit.
Yeah, but we're about to have a new wave of manifest tokens coming down. So
Some amount.
And William is about to Shamanic Revelation for, 17 cards and 58 life or whatever. So
There's a manifest. Purphoros number 2. Yes, and he doesn't actually get to rebuild that much. I imagine the fight was actually go after both of your Whisperwoods and stuff like that, get those things off the table,
sure.
and it wasn't that big of a reload. Now, there are still quite a few permanents in play, don't get me wrong.
So it looks like William is passing, that he dumped all of his available mana into that Purphoros, which means there's no Shamanic Revelation coming, which means now David has a pretty long leash to do whatever he wants here. For example, he can end Hostilities, make a token with Xenagos, take care of the Ugin, and go from there.
Ugin's long gone. Purphoros took care of that.
Or he can just continue to do what he's doing here and assume that William can't overpower him.
Well, how does he get around the old Whisperwood Elemental that's in play? On William's side.
Just Purphoros and manifest tokens.
Okay.
He's still got a boatload of mana. Xenagos is making, I don't know, quite a bit.
9, 10-ish.
Sort of just trying to speak now in broad strokes rather than about specific numbers.
Sure,
because
yes.
I don't want to say 22 mana and then it turns out that it was 23 or 21.
And then Twitter attacks you.
Right.
I understand. In comes and Hostilities as a manifest creature. Purphoros will ding ya. Purphoros, the glue. The straw that stirs the drink.
Well, once we get to this stage of the game,
You can play Rabble Master, it makes a token, 2 more. Of course, we have Krufix on top now.
I don't even know. I think it's possible William cannot cast Shamanic Revelation next turn because he will just deck.
I think that's in play. There's Temple of Plenty. Temple of Plenty will be the land that gets played. So David going to go up to a cool 80. Wooded Foothills on top. Here's a bunch of mana. Unmorph, Rabble Master.
Gain 1,000 more.
Approximately. See, this is more of a test for those behind the camera doing the direction than us. Can they keep up with the life totals?
It's very challenging.
Yeah. We can just kind of sit here.
Yeah. The screen shows whatever it shows,
Yep.
so.
There's another Rabble Master. Change the life total, director. This is easy. 104 it is. Here's some goblin tokens. You think they'll get blocked?
Probably.
Yeah.
I like blocking here.
Yeah, you think blocking's good? Good block. Good block. Good block.
William's still right on top of it.
Yep. William down at 21. Now it's his turn to have fun. We are literally watching Commander right now.
Yeah.
That's what's actually happening. Oh, Dave was at 2 when we joined this game. You forgot
right.
about that?
Yeah. So Shamanic Revelation right now would cause William to draw in the neighborhood of 15 cards, depending on how many of his mana creatures are off screen. And he just did a count there, and it looked like 15 might be too many.
Land. Scry. Bottom. No good. Whispered Elemental. I think that Fireball plan's out the door.
I'm actually not positive. Honestly, with the Voyaging Satyrs, the Nykthos, there's still a Xenagos in William's hand. I wouldn't rule it out. That's all I'm saying.
Could be in play. I think you got to get that Xenagos out there. Gonna just pass the turn though.
Xenagos might need to be saved for the turn in the event that William draws Crater's Claws.
Sure.
Because Xenagos is so much positive mana in that spot.
Gonna unmorph a Purphoros. Excuse me, unmorph a Purphoros.
Oh boy.
Which means the Purphoros in play has to die. Can't count that one for devotion. Yeah, so that one's gonna die. Now you can count devotion. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, somewhere around 15 or 16 here for William.
I do not envy these players.
I bet you would have conceded already. Just, I'm going out on a limb.
No, I actually think what I would have just done is just gotten the Purphoros phase up and just cast things, and if that wasn't good enough, that's fine.
Okay, okay. There's 33 mana in the pool. Nykthos on display here.
Remember we were talking before, you know, we had this real beatdown centric top 8.
We did, yeah.
Looking like might be an hour and a half in the top 8.
We did. I do recall.
Not looking
that.
so good.
Yeah. Now you and I are talking in broad strokes, having no idea what will occur. Can't even really provide a lot of lines of play.
No.
Neither player can attack.
Not only can neither player attack in the strategic sense, the board's too cluttered, neither player can attack in the physical sense. The board is too cluttered. This is World War I trench warfare. We're stuck. No one can move. Don't even try to make an attack.
No. It's just a waste of time.
Physically impossible to make an attack.
It's just a waste of time. Oh, nah, he has a Purphoros. Well, well. Purphoros is targeting both Rabble Masters and all of the manifests. Eater of Manifest tokens. Of course, Serve Crewfix as well. Not sure old Paluk is going to be able to win this fight. Going to gain a bunch of life. What's that manifest? That one looks like it might die. He's reaching for some mana, maybe not. Carry added, perhaps? Ah, yes. Even more life. We may break our display.
Yep.
We were being informed it does not go to 4 digits.
Well, now we know the next improvement to make.
Yep. We'll put that in the feedback thread. Some creatures died. That's pretty neat.
All right.
And the draw steps of Wooded Foothills. Now what's next? Xenagos. There's already one of those in play.
But still valuable to have, as it is way plus mana.
True.
The Mastery of the Unseen still in play.
I'd cast End Hostilities just to try to deck him.
I think that there's a good chance that's on David's radar as a somewhere down the line. Right now, the way things are shaping up, it looks like David has an advantage. Also, David might get decked himself, too. He's down to not that many cards.
Yeah, not very
He's been manifesting like crazy.
Yeah. That's one of those. That's the side shuffle with like 4 cards. Every deck is one of my favorites.
Yep.
Like, hold on, let me give you a second. I got to shuffle.
You got to pile that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe he would, but again, no space.
Yep. I see the people are really starting to tune in now. We've got over 10,000 viewers here for our game of Commander.
Yep.
Do appreciate you guys joining us, obviously. We're not setting any land speed records here.
Yep. Thanks for joining us in the middle of whatever the hell you would call this.
Chaos. This is chaos.
Pure chaos.
Yes, absolute chaos. This is what got us drawn to Magic in the first place. This reminds me of one of the games I used to play in the basement with my friends where you weren't allowed to attack for the first hour. And then, after we set a timer and everything, and then you were allowed to go.
Yeah, I did play some pickup games back in the day where it was bad form to, cast a creature on turn 1 and then start attacking.
Yeah.
It's like,
That
dude,
was the rule.
what's the point?
It was me and my 2 best friends, and we had, I don't even know how large the decks were, and just build for the first hour, and then kaboom. We used to play StarCraft that way, too.
Yep.
You couldn't attack or do anything for the first hour. And then all hell broke loose. Kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a more honest way of playing a video game or a card game.
What percentage of those games you're describing came down to decking?
0. Of those games, no. Our decks were like 200 cards.
Okay. And of course you had the Felden's Cane.
Duh.
Mandatory Felden's Cane.
Duh. This is an amateur hour.
One of your friends with rich parents, they probably had a time twister. So that gets the ball rolling.
No time twisters involved. I was the blue player, and I was the poorest of the group.
Okay.
I caused trouble by casting cards like Rebound. And that would cause people to attack me. Deflection, one of my favorites. That's the first expensive card I ever bought.
Deflection was, I believe it was voted Card of the Year by Inquest or Scry Magazine. I don't know what that means.
That's honest reporting.
Card of the Year?
There's a Courser. Top card, Courser. Here's a Courser. There's a Xenagos. Starts on 3. Elevator might be going up. Who even knows?
Well, I don't know if there's much merit to making a 2/2 token, but...
Well, he wants one.
Okay.
There it is. I see we're doing a little deck counting.
Yeah, I would say, by the looks of things, William is currently in the lead in the decking race.
Manifest. Manifest. We'll have to see the top card in a second now because there's Courser in play. Slide some things over. Build up a board.
At some point here, William's going to have to just sacrifice these Whisperwood Elementals and get them off of the table because he can't afford to be manifesting these many cards off of his library.
It's true. Top card for him is a Voyaging Satyr,
Could use some more mana.
in case he's a little short.
I mean, the second Voyaging Satyr honestly could be the difference between being able to win with Crater's Claws and not.
This is true.
This is bringing me back to some 1995 basement Magic, though.
Hey, take the sleeves off the decks totally. Need the penny sleeves.
Need the penny sleeves. No dual lands allowed.
Yeah.
Predates Planeswalkers.
A Shaman of the Great Hunt. I would not activate that.
No.
That's just a 4/2 that deals 2 damage to the opponent.
I mean, David's still trying to maybe cobble together a kill with Purphoros here, but I just don't know. I don't think it could be through manifesting. I don't know if there's enough cards left in his library to allow him to do that.
I don't know either. Voyaging Satyr is the draw. Top card, don't have a great look. It's a Wooded Foothills. I think if you're William, all you want to do is be able to gain some amount of life. If he gains life in some capacity, he's fine.
Well, again, it's a question of how long does he leave these Whisperwood elementals in play as well? Because the tokens he's manifesting don't have a ton of value. Oh!
Are we going to the red zone? What was once deemed impossible has now begun.
Couple problems with this attack. We'll see how it shakes out. Problem number 1, David with some huge creatures and expendable chump blockers. Problem number 2, David at 142 life. But you gotta try.
You gotta start somewhere.
You gotta at least throw a shot out there.
It's the 21-21 blueprints we're talking about here.
The bonus of this attack is that it's possible David will just physically be unable to make the blocks he wants to make. So you might actually end up with a pretty good attack step all told.
He may not be able to slide around discards to block appropriately.
Right.
As there's no space on the table.
He might just get sick of moving his permanents around and just say no blocks.
It's just a new dimension.
Right.
Looks like the Satyr token's going to get in front of Blueprintless at the very least.
Also, you got to make sure that none of the permanents are concealed down there under those stacks. Got to know about that, too.
That's true.
My friend back in the day, Justin Page, big fan of sneaking a treetop village in his forest pile and just busting that out.
That's a low move. That's a low move.
Got to look out for it, though. You never know. Could be on accident, could be on purpose. But with a board like this, you can never be too sure.
Yeah, we're just looking for an honest game of Magic. Is there some manifesting going on here?
Yeah, looks like it.
Maybe some drawing of cards?
Oh, it's off of the Shaman of the Great Revel.
Sure.
Is my best guess.
That's a little risky.
Yeah, this is some risky business. Unless he's just trying to go off with Purphoros this turn.
We did draw a bunch of creatures. There's Voyaging Satyr. That's the big follow-up.
I think it's very possible he can do it.
2 life gained there from the Courser. Thanks to Wooded Foothills coming into play. Top card's a Sylvan Caryatid, which may be manifested thanks to Whisperwood Elemental being in play.
Drawing cards is a little sketchy there compared to just activating Mastery of the Unseen, because those are all Purphoros triggers.
Some of these may not be.
Right. Whatever lands he draws, those don't trigger. So
William going to sacrifice. Looks around like 10 cards.
yeah, that looks about right.
Oh, well, it's starting to really heat up now. Now all the viewers are coming in. They want to see what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
It's a lot of tomfoolery and ballyhoo.
Some shenanigans afoot.
I bet the second game takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Will has 11 cards. David has 7. Will down to 10 cards now due to a manifest. David down to 6 cards.
Well, Elspeth is a huge draw here for David as well, as that is by itself 3 Purphoros triggers.
Kaboom.
Can he put together 9 creatures this turn? I have to imagine it's possible.
I think it's actually in the works.
He's got a bunch of mana. The question is, does he have enough cards left in his deck where the mana he generates off of Xenagos allows him to manifest enough? Because William has no play on David's turn. There's nothing to play around here.
Elspeth with Purphoros. It's a combo deck. Three triggers, 6 damage, all upstairs.
There's a Whisperwood Elemental, a Sylvan Carry added hanging out in that hand, a Xenagos that can also generate a token if he's feeling so inclined.
2 to you. Down to 10.
Whisperwood Elemental is then 8.
Get a good look at all these manifest creatures. What's going on down yonder? This is Purphoros. Oh boy.
Okay, so I suppose we are responding here to the Xenagos activation to try to fight enough stuff to whittle down the devotion count such that David does not have enough mana to execute the rest of what he's trying to do this turn.
Got it. Now, one of those Voyaging Satyrs is 6, so we'll only get to use one of them. I think that's important that we don't forget that.
Just confirming right now to make sure that the right creatures are eligible to be using their activated powers. As this game is fairly complicated to keep track of.
Is it?
And this Purphoros activation matters a lot if it's for the right amount.
I would agree about that. And from the looks of things, it looks like the Voyaging Satyr that's in play is the only one that's in play. And if that's the case, that's how he ended his turn, was playing a Voyaging Satyr and then manifested, move forward. So I want to make sure that he is making a legal play with his Purphoros here. That is what's in question at this point. Just another wrinkle.
And another line of play in this spot is I think that David could go ahead now with Elspeth in play and just cast End Hostilities.
He's submitted.
Yeah, that is he can't take a moment more of this. But I think that David had the kill essentially lined up that turn because he could End Hostilities, leave his Elspeth in play alongside Purphoros. William can't sacrifice Whisperwood Elemental to rebuild his army because he doesn't have enough cards left in his library. He would go and just deck on his turn. So I think the Elspeth basically locks it up for David in that spot. The rest of it is just how does he want to go through with it?
I'm not sure what submission hold that is. It's not the sleeper.
No.
It was a painful one there for William Miller. David Moline's going to win game number 1 here against William Miller. Nia Midrange is up a game here over Green Red Devotion. Both these players are going to go to the sideboards. And they're going to take a minute to sideboard. We're going to take a minute to rinse and refresh for game number 2, as that was a lengthy one. So our players are going to take a break. We're going to do the same, and then we're going to go over the sideboards and get ready for game number 2. So we'll see you guys back here from Los Angeles after a very short break.
The StarCityGames.com Open Series is headed to Baltimore, Maryland. Tune in February 28th through March 1st with Patrick Sullivan and Matthias Hunt for a weekend of modern action, with $20,000 on the line and $5,000 for first place. 8 players will qualify for a StarCityGames.com Invitational, where they'll compete for their share of $50,000 and a spot in the year-end Players' Championship. Don't miss the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Baltimore on SCGLA.
Meet the StarCityGames.com Winter 2015 Creature Collection. We are proud to debut 4 brand new designs, including the Mammoth, Wolf, and Rat, plus our card parody, Eternal Witness. All are now available on card sleeves, playmats, and dice bags. Get your Winter 2015 Creature Collection products now, exclusively at StarCityGames.com.
Goblins were relentless, thousands rising from cracks in the ground. We set bow and blade and beast against them, but not all were so fortunate. Had the goblins left their king at home, we might have lost everything.
Get these paired playmats only at the StarCityGames.com Spring 2015 State Championships, standard on April 11th and modern on April 12th. Visit StarCityGames.com/states to learn more.
Hi. How are you? We're pretty good, aren't we? Did you not enjoy that?
It was just involved.
It was different the last game that we watched.
Listen, a game like that one time out of every million is actually sweet.
It was actually kind of fun.
Actually added some texture to the game.
You know who that wasn't fun for? Nick Miller, sideboard coverage reporter who had to write the match.
And we expect every detail.
Think about
Every
that. Think about that for a minute. His job, what he just had to do. That was the first game. I hope the next one's longer.
That's probably not possible because at a certain point the convention center shuts down.
Oh, fair enough. Our players are ready for who knows how long of a game too. So we'll take a look at the sideboards here for just a moment. Let's see. William Miller, you're on the play. You got 2 Arbor Colossus, 3 Nihilious Disciple, 2 Reclamation Sage, 2 Outpost Siege, 2 Tactics, 2 Nissas, 2 Arc Lightnings. Thoughts?
I can get behind the Setestan tactics in this matchup. The rest of this is not that attractive to me. I suppose the Outpost Sieges, game's going to go on for a pretty long time.
Other side of things, 2 Arbor Colossus, a Rex Sage, a Shaman of the Great Hunt, 2 Destructive Revelry, 2 Nissa, Xenagos, 3 Arc Lightnings, and 3 Glare of Heresies.
I like the extra copy of Xenagos because I think you're going to see some games pretty similar to that where it bogs down a little bit and then generating a bunch of mana is significant. 3 copies of Arc Lightning to suppress some of the mana. I think an extra copy of Shaman of the Great Hunt is good in this matchup too, as the game will drag down sometimes and then Shaman can actually start doing its thing. Reclamation Sage as well. Try to fight Outpost Siege. Of course, there's Krufix on the other side of the table.
Hey, it's Magic. We're going to watch some of it. Elvish Mystic to start things off. There's a Temple of Triumph. Excuse me, a Temple of Abandon. I've lost my mind. I don't know what the cards are anymore.
Temple of Abandon.
I used to be good at this. I'm going to try to get it back together.
Okay.
Attack for 1. David's at 19. Nope, I was wrong.
It's still wrong. What card is that?
Voyaging Satyr.
The other one.
Temple of Abandon.
All right.
We're back on it. There's a forest. No play. Easy turn to commentate.
This would be a really good spot for David to have Arc Lightning.
This game just got hard.
Yep. This is sort of the risk with David's build. He doesn't have a lot of early interaction. There's no wild slashes or lightning strikes to break serve. So Arc Lightning is pretty solid here, but a lot of the damage has already been done.
Yeah, it really has been. This is the kind of draw I think David's deck just has a real pain against. Just an early Whisper Elemental on the draw.
He's got to end Hostilities. That's his out to this sort of thing.
Well, that's what Whisperwood's there for. Ish. I mean, I know it makes manifest creatures and, the text doesn't line up favorably, but he might not ever get the time to actually cast it in an appropriate fashion.
Right. Correct.
There's another manifest creature. Pass the turn back. Forest off the top. Xenagos? Pelucranos? Pelucranos, not bad. Unmorph. Voyaging
Ooh,
Satyr.
a surprise.
As Nykthos is currently net neutral. Xenagos is a pretty healthy brick wall here. That's a Xenagos, okay. Can make 3 mana, or can just make a Satyr token.
William can still be sort of on the beatdown plan here because David is a pretty far away from going crazy with mana. His deck needs a lot of stuff in play before he starts generating the type of mana that William can. So this is not a bad setup here.
There's Pelucranos now. All right, this is a good turn.
Very good turn.
Manifest 2, this is a good turn.
They are very different Pelucranos decks. Williams is really powerful early and often. David needs a lot of time before his becomes a substantial threat.
See what we have here. Courser, sure. Top card, Xenagos. And he already knows he's beat.
David, that was a great concession. A great concession. We're approaching minute 70. You're dead there for sure. You're not winning that game. No hostilities in hand. No 5th land.
The Sullivan stamp of approval. William Miller.
Loved it.
Gonna take a moment.
A great capital G. Great concession. That was
If you had a stamp,
there you go.
right there. I'm gonna get you a stamp. That's what I'm gonna do.
The concession stamp of approval.
Yeah, that's right. Just, you know what? You're beat.
You're
Get
beat
right out of there.
You're beat. One assumes you value your time. Stamp.
That's
I'm
right.
done. Done here.
William Miller gonna take a moment. go to the restroom, get himself ready for game number 3. Who knows how long this game's going to be. That was a short one. See, that's actually kind of what we expected to happen in the match. I think it's a pretty tough matchup for David's deck, because Green Ocean can just go over the top of him. Can make mana faster, can do more broken things quickly. It's difficult for David to actually interact outside of an Hostilities. Yes, he does have Arc Lightning after sideboard for the interaction that we saw in game number 2, but for the most part, our expectation was it was going to be a pretty quick match, and that's how games were going to go.
Well, what was interesting about game 1 is, when we're sitting down and we're talking about the matchup, we just say, yeah, Green Devotion's got the best top end.
Yeah.
When it has a bunch of mana, it's casting Genesis Hydra for a bunch. It's doing all this powerful stuff, Polukranos activations for 20. We might have undersold David's deck a little bit, because the ceiling on both of these decks, actually David's is far more powerful. With all of his permanents in play, he generates more mana, he generates more permanents, and he can kill outside of combat with something like Purphoros plus all the token generation, where ultimately, unless there's Creator's Clause involved, the Green Devotion deck has to attack to win the game.
Yeah.
And once the Mastery of the Unseen was online, well, now Creator's Clause is offline because David's going above 100 life. So that was really impressive to see. I just assumed that these were just kind of like random control cards. You have your Xenagos, it's a card that you play, it's kind of powerful. Mastery of the Unseen gives you some staying power, and Elspeth is good in this deck, and Purphoros, blah, 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 blah. But when the game dragged out, actually, all those pieces interlocked into doing something far more powerful than what Green Devotion brings to the table. Very few decks in Standard can say that.
No, absolutely. And that was game 1 was a little bit of a surprise. We'll see how the next game goes, of course. David's going to be on the play, so after Windows to come back, we'll get the sideboarding and all that stuff. But now, while we have a moment here, we'll talk very quickly about Season 3 of the Open Series, something that we did announce last week when we were in Houston. We unveiled Season 3 and Season 4, so the dates are all available. You guys know about the Grand Prix that we're running, and we're kicking it off in Charlotte modern style. Now, last time we were in the area for Grand Prix Richmond, we had a whole bunch of people there. It's going to be close again, maybe a record setter.
So we have a pretty good history running Grand Prix in Charlotte. We have a pretty good history running modern Grand Prix in the Mid-South. So I would imagine this event's going to be very well attended June 12th through 14th. Indianapolis, Baltimore, and Chicago for the first time. Those will all be standard Open Series events.
After that, how about Indy? How's that sound?
A little bit down the line.
I like Indy.
I like Indy too. Richmond,
we'll go to Richmond,
Washington,
we'll go
D.C. Standard Grand Prix in London. We'll have more information about that as we get closer to the event. A Legacy Open Series in Charlotte towards the end of August. And then the Season 3 Invitational in New Jersey. Standard and Legacy as the Invitational format. Standard is the Open Series format. August 28th through 30th. Me, you, and Matthias Hunt in the booth.
Season 3 isn't good enough. Season 4 we'll talk about next. We'll go to Cincinnati. We'll go to Worcester. We'll go to Milwaukee. We'll go to Indy. That's where we'll start things off in September through October. After that, Atlanta, St. Louis, a Modern Open Series in Dallas, then a Standard Open in Philly. And then we'll have some fun with a limited Grand Prix in Atlanta, Legacy Open Series in Jersey. We'll go to Denver the first time in a while. Then I won't have to get on an airplane for the weekends, for an invitational in Seattle, and then we'll both have to get an airplane. But it's pretty much well worth it. Players' Championship.
Last event of the year should be a real good one. We know one person is going to be in that event, defending champion Brad Nelson. We have a pretty good idea who number 2 is going to be at this point. It's looking like Jim Davis is going to take the Season 1 point invite. Not a lock by any measure, but with Joe Lissette failing this weekend to do much of anything in the Standard Open, I suspect Jim Davis will be the second person invited to the Players' Championship.
I do suspect that as well. Players are shuffling. We're getting ready here for game number 3, though I will tell you, on Twitter people have been on fire this weekend. On fire. Sullivan stamp of concession approval, emoticon on Twitch.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
Just like that.
It's hard to do. I want to do one gesture of thumbs up and the other one scooping up a pile of cards. I don't know how to do it. We'll work on it out.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Yeah. So that might be the next emoticon.
Right.
Boom. The next bunch of emoticons. The stamp of approval.
Just give it up. Just give it up. There's only one resource. We're confident that there's a finite supply of for each person, and it's your time alive.
That's true.
Don't spend a lot of time losing hopeless games. Just give it up, go to the next one.
That's what he does. We're going to head to our next match right now. Game number 3 between David Moline and William Miller. 9 mid-range Great Devotion. Big shout out, too, to our finalist, Chad White, who is waiting patiently.
Yep.
Because he doesn't have a choice. He's ready to destroy someone with red-white aggro. I think he's got a good matchup no matter who he plays here, too.
I actually don't know if the red-white aggro list is very good against David's deck. We'll see. Mag acceleration into big stuff is not a bad recipe against them. I think his matchup against green-red devotion is solidly favorable, however.
I suppose. I think it's close.
David Moline here, a man on an island. Only one playing Naya mid-range. Some unconventional card choices.
It's a heck of a run.
But I'm not surprised he was able to get past mono red aggro in the top 8. His deck seems very well suited for that matchup. I do think he's behind here. I think that Green Devotion has a solid matchup, but as we saw in Game 1, when his shop is completely set up, he can overpower Green Devotion, very impressive. And then I think the matchup waiting for him in the finals also solidly in his favor. There's never a lock in Magic, but if David can escape this third game here, I think he's got a good shot at winning the tournament.
Well, he'll be on the play. We're going to find out. A podcaster on the Heavy Meta podcast is making a run here in Los Angeles. He's keeping. We're playing. Temple of Plenty. That'll start it up. William is only on 6 cards. David keeps on top. Miller will draw. Forest, Mystic, kick it over. There's another Temple of Plenty. Top card stays on top yet again for David. We'll go back Williams' way. A Forest, a Voyaging Satyr, a Helvish Mystic.
It's Arc Lightning time.
Well, he's got the Mountain. He's tapping 3 mana. Bzzz.
There it is. Arc Lightning on the play against this draw is so good.
Oh boy, is it just an attack? Yikes. Arc Lightning, that was a giant beating. Couple of Caryatids here. Moline will pass the turn back.
And he's got a path to Elspeth next turn.
And just a passing of the turn here from Miller. No good attacks to be had. There's a Temple of Plenty. Take a look at the top card.
Also, I believe he has Shamanic Revelation in hand, which alongside Elspeth is a combo.
Yep. Yeah, you're right about that. Soldier tokens in the house. We're heading back Miller's way. 4 mana. Genesis Hydra for 2.
The last reprieve of the scoundrel. Trying to get a mana creature there. Yeah. I like the play. He's got to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying as desperately as he can to find some action because he knows the way this board is shaping up, he's not got a lot. He does not have a lot of time to wait for more mana. Just got to get something going.
And Hostilities the draw, just in case. Up to 6, 3 soldiers.
So a little draw 8 action here. It's fine.
You know what they call this?
Good deck building.
That's what that is. 8 cards coming.
All
Doesn't
right,
want to play
yes!
anymore. See, the Sullivan stamp of approval. The Sullivan stamp of approval.
2 great concessions. The tournament can only have one winner. We know it can only have one winner, but 2 great concessions from these competitors.
David Moline, moving on to the finals. Naya mid-range. Did not expect this coming in.
You're both winners in my book. Both
Patrick
winners.
couldn't be happier. Our players couldn't be happier. One more match to go, baby.
Just a great match there. The most involved, complicated game 1 that I've probably ever seen in Standard, at least, possibly ever covering the Open Series. And then games 2 and 3, just some brilliant concessions from both players. Couldn't be happier having to watch that match.
Having some
Congratulations,
I'm having
both
some
players.
difficulty keeping it together here. You know what it's time for? It's time for a short break because we have one more match to bring you. You okay? You good? You're really pumped up.
I was fading there. You know, there were some low moments there in game 1, but I was really happy to get to call that match with you.
It's break time. I swear I can do this. I can keep this together. Red White Aggro versus Naya mid-range. Our final match here from Los Angeles. We'll see you guys back here in a couple of minutes.
Join us on the road to the StarCityGames.com Players Championship in Baltimore, Maryland on February